what's his name? Was going to start to say something, but Husa was going to start to say something, but he got about halfway through what he was going to say, and power went out.
It went. Yep.
Yeah.
Gotta love the Southeast, right?
And the Lord's double checking all the rooms and making sure that there isn't any ghosts left. For something to do.
Spell or whatever, the divine, whatever.
Yeah. Okay, well, we may get some viewers back. We may not get any viewers back. That's okay. I just want to make sure that I've got the recording going, so we get the rest of the thing. Yes, we are back. Power came back on.
I jumped on to check the radar, and I was like, wow, this little sail that went through Orlando and knocked his power out. How unfortunate.
Summer in Florida. Gotta love it. Okay. All right. Okay, now I need to get everything pulled back up on this computer. So that... All right, so while I'm pulling that up, you guys are having a conversation with Omin. Ken, what did you say to him again?
Oyo kind of looks up at him and he says, perhaps you should speak more plainly.
Well, I would be happy to. We could talk here, or if you prefer, we can set up a time that you can come and visit the corporate offices in downtown Waterdeep. I can show you around the premises, give you a little bit of a preview of the kinds of things we've been working on.
I think now would be good.
Well, okay. Acquisitions Incorporated. We are a franchised adventuring company, and with headquarters here in Waterdeep and a full team of dedicated round-the-clock researchers, we have the kind of advantages that other adventuring companies cannot offer. For example, every Hordes person who is part of one of our franchised adventuring companies, they have a bag that's called the Hordes person's bag. And it may look like a normal bag of holding, but it's even better than that. It's better than that because you can put items into it and they can be sent to your franchise's contact at the Acquisitions Incorporated office. And also through our bracelets of sending, you can send and receive messages and request items be sent to your Hordes person, which will arrive in the Hordes person's bag. Now, I know you're used to being out on your own with no support and having to survive by your own wits. And with the kind of work you've done, it's obvious that you are a very good team out in the field. But just imagine if you had that kind of support from Acquisitions Incorporated home office, how much more you could accomplish.
What would be required of us? Will we have to sell merchandise for you guys and give you all of our winnings other than a small percentage we get to keep for ourselves because your group is magnanimous and will allow us to have something? Or will we be free to do our own thing and just basically say, oh yes, we're part of this group?
Well, now, normally, you are in a rare position because Acquisitions Incorporated is coming to you. Most of the time, aspiring adventurers come to Acquisitions Incorporated. And when unproven, untested adventurers come to us, it is true that we start them out as sub-interns. And we give them the opportunity to prove themselves by having a 20-80 split with the company, where they retain 20% of the treasure that they gain, and home office gets 80% of the treasure, as is standard in the Acquisitions Incorporated legal contracts that every documancer on each team will fill out for the companies or individuals who contract with us. But in this case, I would propose a much better split with you. I would propose that you all would keep 85% of the treasure that you earn, and that only a 15% maintenance fee, which of course covers the cost of the equipment that we issue, the Acquisitions Incorporated identification, logos, and the burial insurance or resurrection insurance should something tragic befall your franchise. That and then also we would allow you to operate under, when you're not in Toril, we would allow you to operate under a sort of a freelance basis, where you choose the assignments that you take, instead of, like, most of our franchisees are assigned contracts by home office based on requests that we get from people. You know, the standard, there are orcs raiding our village, please send an adventuring company to come out and deal with them. A giant has kidnapped my daughter, please go rescue her. There's this dragon that is pestering our crops, please go deal with that. You know, the standard type of stuff that most of our franchisees deal with.
And she just stares at him like, okay.
Something was mentioned about crops. Allura would be making her way up the stairs and says, dragons don't pester crops unless it's stolen from them. I should kind of look around at the table to see if anyone was staying up this time.
And when you speak, Omin will go ahead and he will push his chair out, and he will stand up, and as he does, As he does, his chair starts to tip back, but he manages to reach back and keep it from falling over awkwardly.
She'll look over to Oya if he stands up front.
Oh, definitely does not stand up, nor has he ever.
Laura will throw like a needle at his head. I would say a pen, but like I don't think that she has a pen
needle?
on her.
You threw a needle at his face?
Like a pencil.
Hulk would probably be the more.
All right, roll for damage. Roll to hit.
Jim, what do I roll?
Let's see if he has to wear an eye patch the rest of his life.
I don't even know what to roll.
Just roll a dex check.
Yeah, just roll a dex check.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Would
Does it even reach the table, or is it just?
well, it definitely is not going to. It definitely is not going to strike Oyo anywhere vital. Would he like to catch it?
He kind of like moves into it on purpose slightly and like lets it stick him in his like shoulder or something just to make her feel bad.
Wow. You're so sweet.
But
Laura will smile across her arms. Says, "That's what you get for not standing. Like he." She'll kind of like point over to him and says, "He says it's good manners to stand up when a lover or a lady comes into the room."
oh, I wasn't aware that a lady entered the room, and he kind of looks around.
Closer you to me.
Wood.
Oh, you're across the. Are you sit? Oh yeah, she. Inca basically like uses the arm that's closest to you to just basically smack you in the chest, like. As if to say, "What? Dare you say that?" She's kind of thinking, "You little shit." So
I'm sorry. Where were we?
But dragons don't just normally steal crops unless they're stolen.
Well, now, from the dragon's point of view, that might well be true. Dragons are a long-lived species, and they have long memories, and dragons tend to think in ancestral terms. So there may be, for instance, a red dragon, let us say, that is the 4th generation removed from a dragon that was slain by dwarves when they built their hold in under a mountain. And now, some 10 to 12 generations of dwarves later, this upstart dragon comes to reclaim its ancestral home. But now, having studied diligently all of the code legal to make sure that everything we do at Acquisitions Incorporated aligns with the laws of Waterdeep, I would have to say you'd really have to go and take this to an arbiter, don't you think? I mean, the dragon makes a claim based on ancestral lore from its family history that this space once was owned by one of its ancestors. But if you look at all of the work that the dwarves have done over their succeeding generations to build and populate and renovate and economically improve the space, is it really fair to say that it actually belonged to the dragon in the first place? This is a question that sometimes people say should be left to philosophers, but in Acquisitions Incorporated, we believe that the law and the divine right of strong-armed adventurers can settle most disputes. And the beautiful thing is, everybody profits.
I feel at this time that this would be something that we would need to sit and discuss amongst ourselves as a group. Some of us are newer acquisitions to this group, and do not quite know what the feelings of the others would be in this avenue. So, tell you what, is there some way of drawing up, or say letting us have a look at the agreement, or a chance to review a written agreement with this stating all of these things that you have stated, all the clauses, the ins and outs, so that we can sit down and make a informed decision if we wish to join or not.
And perhaps speak with our council.
You mean, Inca, you would be interested in reviewing a boilerplate franchise charter?
Would be interested in reviewing whatever documents you would require us to sign for whatever it is that you're wanting us to fully do in the future. I guess if that's to be a charter or an offshoot or something like that. Not saying that we're interested, but we want to be able to make a fully informed decision one way or the other.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And I also want to make sure that you understand that just because we are asking for a look at these papers or documents does not mean that we will take you up on this offer. But you never know. You may not have stated something that might interest us that's in the documents.
I suggest that you make it a very good offer. And
Galabon, just so you know, we're still in the titles. The stream is still in the title screen.
Okay. Thank
I would
you.
also add that I will tolerate zero abuse or betrayal on the part of yourself or anyone associated with you.
Oh. No, there has never been any instance in all of the history of Acquisitions Incorporated where there was any betrayal. Now, there are some vicious rumors that are propagated by corrupted persons that were once in quite literally a previous life prior to their resurrection were members of the Acquisition Incorporated family. But when they were raised by, let's just say, certain persons that have jealous disagreements with Acquisitions Incorporated, they corrupted the mind of this poor individual. And I want to assure you that I am doing everything that I can to try to return my dear friend and former colleague, Spugnor, to his old self. Do not believe anything that you hear from the Six or from my treacherous sister at Dran Enterprises. She will lie to you.
Do not like the word never, first of all. Especially now, these days, I am learning that it's even a worse word than I expected. And he kind of looks around and
Mm-hmm.
you have been rather forthright with us. I appreciate your, how do I say, gumption for this endeavor, but we are on vacation. Perhaps you would do what Inca has suggested and get back to us.
Absolutely, I will. And in fact, understanding that you have a very capable druid of your own as part of your adventuring company, I would be happy to send our top documancer to show you the legal documentation. Lady Elora, you will be interested to know that our top documancer is herself a druid, Walnut Donggrass. She is from our C team that operates out of my hometown of Red Larch, just to the north and a little bit to the east of Waterdeep. In fact, the inn that my dear mother runs with her partner, Dran and Cordier, that is the home base of the C team.
Stop.
So I will have Walnut reach out to you via correspondence first, and then perhaps through a sending, and arrange a time that she can show you the documentation, let you review it, and then answer any questions that you may have. And if you then have further questions for me, you can let me know. But it will review the various positions available within each adventuring franchise, the charter and mission of Acquisitions Incorporated, and oh yeah, so you talked about transparency. I will say, I will be perfectly transparent. I have been somewhat disturbed by some of the rumors I have heard about how the citizens of Ravnica have treated their society and, quite frankly, their entire world. And I think maybe Ravnica has opportunities for local franchises of Acquisitions Incorporated. I believe since you are already known to the Ravnicans and you have performed tremendous deeds of valor, seeing you as part of the company would make it much easier for us to recruit Ravnicans that would be franchise members that are local to Ravnica and do not travel to other planes of existence. So I thank you for your time. And then he turns to the innkeeper and he says, "This tea was absolutely lovely, and the finger food is marvelous." And then he walks over to the bar and he reaches into an inner pocket of his cloak, and he pulls out a little white slip of paper, little rectangular white slip of paper, and he sets it on the bar in front of her. He says, "Please, if after your guests have left, if there's anything else that can be done, please do not hesitate to contact us at Acquisitions Incorporated. We would be most happy to help you with any future needs that you have." And then he puts on his riding gloves and he goes to the door and he turns back and he gives you all a little wave, and he says, "It's been a pleasure. Have a wonderful day." And he walks out the door and leaves.
Oh, that was unexpected.
What do you think?
Uh,
I don't know. There's something about him that does not sit right. But I guess the question is do we really want to find ourselves in a situation? I don't know. I'm confused. I don't want to say it too much, but I'm a simple girl from a backwoods place, and all I've done in my life is travel and play music and herd animals. That's about it. So some of this is yeah, I don't know.
well,
I don't know what to make of it.
if I might make a suggestion when we get a copy of this contract offer, why don't we take it to our friend Jarlaxle? See what he says.
We are in need of legal representation. This is true.
We are back.
I want to find somebody that is if we do the whole have somebody that looks this over, make it someone that is not from here, from this, even if it's from this plane, that can look through and I don't know, see if there's
If there's anybody who'll see any tricks in a contract, it would be him. It's what he does.
For some reason, I agree with you. There's something about him. I wish I had more free time to discover more about this man.
We should ask around, perhaps. I think we should leave that in your hands,
I could do a few, as you say, inquiries. Out of character, Galley?
Yes.
What thoughts come to Oyahusa's mind as far as potential people to get very good advice in regarding this particular manner? or matter, I should say.
Well, you know someone who, whether the player remembers or not, you know someone that you talked to shortly after returning to Waterdeep that actually mentioned the name of Omin Dran.
Yes.
And okay, so well, that might be someone you could go to and find out more from him.
But also like legal advice.
I'm back.
Well, certainly that person is very plugged in with organizations that try to avoid legal entanglements in Waterdeep. So they know a lot about the shady side of Waterdavian society. But if you want to talk to people that uphold the laws or whatnot, you guys also have friends like, what's his name? The guy that's part of the Order of Mages and Protectors. Bartimus Blastwind. You know Bartimus, and you know his partner, Seth Cromwell. I think it's Cromwell. You know some of them. Those are people who are, of course, very much on the up and up, and enforce the laws and investigate criminal activity in the city. So those are people you could go to, and that your party has very good relationships with. And then, depending on what aspects of information you want, if you want the gossip, there's no better place to find the gossip than going and poking around at the Yawning Portal, because anybody who knows anything about anyone will be telling those stories there. Can easily be plied over, and depending on how well you think you know people like Durnan or Volo.
That's a good question that you bring that up. In character, what does Oyo know about Volo, and does he think that Volo would be a good person to discuss this with? Because there's just a lot that I think Oyo realizes about Volo that normal people don't. And I just want to know what would be some of that you think. And I don't know. Everybody thinks he's like a kind of a fool, but Oyo doesn't think that at all. He thinks he's very smart.
Well, Volo carries himself like a playboy, like a rich adventurer who doesn't lift a finger to help himself, but somehow manages to survive all these adventures and travel to all these exotic places and come out of it without getting killed. So he's got some skills, and whether those skills are more charismatic and just being able to get on the good side of people no matter who or what they are, because it's like he seems to know a lot about different kinds of species, from monstrous humanoids like orcs and gnolls to majestic creatures like dragons, to really out there wild and outlandish things like beholders and mind flayers. And so somehow he's able to pick up information. Now, what a lot of people presume that Volo talks to people who have been places, finds out what he can, and then just embellishes the rest of it on his own. Oyo may have heard stories or may believe that Volo actually does go on these excursions himself and somehow manages to survive. But that would be kind of the difference of perception. Now, in terms of would Volo be a good person, Volo would certainly know anything there is to know about Omin Dran. And Omin Dran is exactly the kind of person that Volo would love to write about, because he is a celebrity who is both credited with heroic deeds and surrounded by scandal.
Mhm.
And the thing with Volo is he very much would want to turn that into a quid pro quo. Quid pro quo, meaning that he has made no secret from the first time you guys met him that he wants to sort of write the official story of all of your exploits. And so if you go asking him for something, he's probably going to want to, set up some interviews and talk to you and your companions and whatnot. So that would be definitely a thing there.
Does Oyohusa think it's wise to do that, considering what he knows about Dran that most people don't? And I guess maybe he has to figure out like if that's true or not, because he doesn't. If the rumors are true, or at least what he's found to be true, then Dran is not somebody he wants to cross.
Mm-hmm.
Just for the safety of his party members, not necessarily that Oyohusa is scared of him, but
right.
He has responsibilities. So
yeah, and if the rumors are true, someone in Omin Dran's position could cause a lot more problems for the party than the average Joe could. And it's like, just avoiding that hassle alone would be
nice.
Okay. Could be worthwhile. But yeah, Volo would be likely to have some insights on that, you think? But getting him to tell you that, because Volo probably wants to stay on Omen's good side as well, that might be a little bit tricky. It would just sort of be who does Volo think could help him or hurt him more? Your group or Omen.
Does Oyohusa think that he can use how do I say Volo's interest in a certain party member of his as leverage?
Oh no.
Would it be favorable for him?
Well, probably the better question for Oyo to ask is, if he could do that, what would be the repercussions within the party for him doing that?
Okay.
Yeah. And whether he would want to maybe whether he would want to recruit the party members to be in on it, and see if people would like to play along.
Right.
Whether they think it's worthwhile.
That's a conversation I'll have to have, which he's going to do right now.
Okay.
Oh boy.
I have some ideas, but I'm not sure you're going to like them. And he kind of leans back in his chair.
What are your ideas, Oyo?
I have a couple of thoughts. One, I have a contact who I can see and ask about if Dran is going to be on the up and up and whether or not it would be a good arrangement for us. Secondly, I can think of one person that most people here despise, but I actually admire a little bit. And he has a particular fondness of a certain feminine character, if you will. And he kind of looks at Elora. And perhaps we can use that to our advantage.
Hmm.
Is anybody catching on, or is this
Yeah,
out of
it's
character?
no. She.
No, sorry,
you,
my sister came into my room.
you see a raised eyebrow of sorts with with that. So interesting. I don't know though if if she'd be into it.
Well, I'm not trying to pimp her out or anything, if that's what you're thinking.
And who owed?
You.
Huh?
What do you think,
Laura
Ivy?
kind of step back
sorry,
into
Laura.
the conversation, and she'll kind of like look at him like, what?
We need to get more information on Drat, and I think of a few ways we can do that. One of them is using Volo, and you're just a girl to make it happen.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the guy at the embassy or whatever it was. That was the other drow.
No, that's who we want to. Adam is going to talk to the contract about.
Again, you looked at her and you looked at Alora and she's kind of like, wow.
I guess at this point, you'll realize that nobody.
Maybe we would wind up having to tag team him or something. I don't know.
Oh, there's an idea.
Hmm.
Please elaborate.
I basically told him that some of his information in his book was, well, wrong.
Oh, that person.
Yes.
He's weird.
But he's quite fond of you and Elora, I think.
Truly? You think he's
Yes, definitely.
okay?
He sees her as a challenge, whereas you are merely, I think, annoyed him.
Oh, thank you.
Well, I mean, while we're being
Whatever.
honest.
Nope, you're fine. Go away.
Well, you did pretty much spurn him the entire time you were there, did you
you
not?
weren't there to see it.
I'm just saying, yes?
You did kind of just leave us at the bar. Two ladies all alone at a bar? Irresponsible. And she'll kind of like laugh and make fun of Oyo.
What? Oyo's just going off of like, he understands how Inca just kind of treats guys like that, so at this point. So he's just making
treat
a
all
statement.
guys like that.
Well, you don't treat me that way.
Excuse me?
No.
No, I don't treat you that way. But the fact that he basically came on to me trying to primp and preen like a peacock, and I wasn't impressed. When I found out who he was, I took out his book and basically said, well, some of your information is wrong. From all of the travels that I did with Tamayo, some of his stuff is... You're terrible, Ken. God damn it. Yeah. And then he kept trying to get me to come talk to him about all of the things that I thought were wrong in his book. And at the time, I was a little more upset with the fact that you just kind of up and disappeared on me. So, or on us. I'm sorry, on us. And
I'm sorry,
I wasn't in the mood to deal with him.
Didn't know that you would hold such a grudge against me.
Well, you kind of showed up and then you left us.
I did tell you I had business, no?
Hmm.
Well, Laura kind of coughs and says, to settle this, I think we should go for another round of drink. To celebrate? Maybe? Clear the air? Make up for it? Adamant! She'll kind of go over to Adam and hide behind him because she can feel the tension between Oyo and Inca.
Anyway, I don't know. Up to you, really. If you think that he would be able to make better heads or tails of what's of a contract, then we can see if maybe we can come up with something together to schmooze him, I guess.
I just believe that he is a man of considerable knowledge and he does get around. I don't personally want to be involved, but for Inca, but I think that, he could be useful. And let's be honest, I think Elora would enjoy it. Think of it as a expressional outlet.
Laura will just be looking confused or underneath Adamant's arm.
Adamant pats Laura on the head.
She'll just stay there behind him, like peering at Oyo, like, what do you mean? English.
I believe you had to be a bit more straightforward, Oyo. Explain to Laura what you're asking. And to me as well.
She
Laura kind of
seems
point
to
up
be.
to Adam and say, he can't understand either. English.
You seem to be, how do I say, becoming more aware and expressing of your Drow heritage. So perhaps Volo could be a good outlet for that.
Laura's face will just go flushed with red.
She's turned it purple.
Something, a project you can really sink your teeth into. And he kind of just grins at you.
Laura will get huffy and this is, if you're gonna make fun of me constantly because of my one mistake, she'll kind of get huffy and then she'll take a step towards the door, but then she'll kind of turn her back against Adam and cross her arms and hide herself.
Anyway, that's what I was thinking. We don't have to do any of it, but I will at least make a few private inquiries of my own, and I think that Adamant is right. Jarlax is a good person to meet with as well. Do we agree?
Sure.
I think I'll go talk to Jarlax while you talk to Volo.
We are agreeing that Volo should be brought into this? Let's take a
Possibly.
vote. Across the table.
If I don't
Oh.
have to talk to him, I'm fine with it.
I agree. I am with you, Adamant.
But you're the one going to talk to him.
No, it would be Inca and Elor.
I see.
Laura whispered to Adamant, "Tell him I'll think about it." In a really huffy voice.
Adam turns around and kind of picks her up by the shoulders. She says she'll think about it.
I'll just stay there and look up at her like that. You're defeating my purpose of hiding behind you. She kind of like try to wiggle and struggle, but then she'll just give up, saying, "Yeah, she's staying there."
Galibar, you have been strangely quiet on this topic.
Galabar isn't
yeah.
here.
Yeah,
Galabar
Galabar's not
isn't
here.
there.
Oh, that's right. Fuck.
Galabar is at his mother's.
Man, I'm on fire today.
If you're on fire, I think you'd be more aware. So,
Yeah, probably. Oh man, you think I would get it? It reached out and bit me. All right, all those in favor of using Volo as a mutual, how do we say, a means to an end, raise your hand. And Leo raises his hand.
Laura.
Laura has to say, "Okay, Laura's doing it."
Leo looks at Inca.
Inca just looks away, like, whatever.
On one condition. You tell Mr. Feather I'm sorry.
I can do that.
What is your vote, Adamant?
Oh, he kind of wiggles his fingers. My hand's up.
Laura
All
starts
right.
laughing because it tickles. Still trying to kind of squirm again, like trying to slap his hands, but then realizing if she slaps his hands and he drops her, she's gonna fall. So,
We need to make this known to Galabar and allow him to vote, but it's pretty much decided at this point. So, as a formality.
Hold on. So he will do a quick send into Galabar, saying that we need to ask you if you'd be willing to work with Volo to find out more about Omin Dran. Stop.
Okay. Out of character, do I know either of those two names?
You met him.
Volo definitely, as someone who was the champion of the arena, you would definitely know Volo because there's two people that you can always pick out at one of the gladiator fights. You in particular could always pick out your patron, because who later you realized was your mother, and that's because she was your patron and she let you know where her box was, so you would always see when she was there. You and every other blessed person in the entire arena could pick out Volo, because Volo always made it extremely obvious and very public when he was at the arena. Because even though everybody was there to watch the fight, Volo has a hard time not being the center of attention, at least in some way. At least making sure that everybody realizes that he's there. Because of course he's Volo. And
Volo also helped us arrange that exhibition tournament.
Yeah. Volo did help with that. So yeah, you would remember.
Would I know the other name?
Omin Dran. make a history check. This would be to see if you okay. Yep. If you've heard that name, it wasn't ever said in any way that made it consequential. So, no, you don't know who Omin Dran is. You do know who Volo is, but not who Omin Dran is.
Okay, Galabar says through this ending, why would we need to talk to Volo? Who's this other person? What's happening? I've been gone for like a couple of hours.
Oh.
I've been gone for a.
I don't have any more sendings left.
Yeah.
That's fine. I can do something.
He asked, "Who is this other person?" That unfortunately, sending only allows some words.
Indeed.
Yeah. Adamant would relay that apparently Galabar doesn't recognize the name Omin Dran.
Yeah, Galabar does not recognize the name.
Adamant, can I ask you something?
I suppose.
Do you have any divination magic at your disposal?
Kind of stops and thinks for a second.
Isn't sending a divination spell?
No, it's evocation.
What?
Yeah, and divination, I think, in the term that Ken is using it, is more specifically looking for telling future events. So things like augury or commune or those types of things, I believe.
No, the only thing I have is
Well, this might, well, it's going to surprise you, but one of the new things I've discovered that I can do is use divination.
really.
Yes, perhaps I should try it for the first time to see if this is even a good idea. You know, just as a extra precaution.
After
It says
You
get-
ask a single question concerning a specific goal, event, or action to occur within 7 days. The GM offers a truthful reply. The reply might be a short phrase, a cryptic rhyme, or an omen. So, what I would
says here that
like,
I contact a god or the god's servant. So whatever, I guess it's up to you.
well, okay, but yeah, that's the first part. But what
Yeah.
you need to do is you need to focus on the second part. You ask a single question concerning a specific goal, event, or activity to occur within 7 days. You get a truthful reply, and the reply might be a short phrase, a cryptic rhyme, or an omen. So you need to craft a question, and what I would, this is up to you to do, but a couple of options you have are you can, if you think Oyahusa would enlist the input of the other PCs in crafting the question, figure that out. If he would do it on his own, he can do that on his own. What I would expect is go ahead and put that question, write it out as a PM. You guys can workshop it together as a group if you want to, but write it as a PM, and then you will get a response, but it may not be a real-time response. It may be a response that you get between sessions.
Hmm.
Because this divination is something that happened within 7 days. There are other divinations of something that's going to happen within like 30 minutes or an hour or the next day.
Yeah. I didn't think it would take him 7 days to draw up a document, so. Hell, we probably won't be here 7 days. Okay. Thanks for the heads up.
Yeah.
That's what I was doing.
Okay.
Laura will kind of swing her feet and say, when are we going to do this? And aren't we staying here for the night?
No.
Yes, we are staying here for tonight. We should head back tomorrow, though, I do believe.
Yeah.
What time of the day is it? Out of character.
It's afternoon when you. It was early afternoon when you got back to the bed and breakfast because you had that picnic for a couple of hours over the midday and your picnic meal. Probably all told with dealing with the ghost, and then the conversation with Omin was probably another hour. So it's probably mid-afternoon by now. Galabar has been at home, and of course, all the stuff that we talked about with him at the beginning of the first part of the session today all happened, for him during the afternoon and into the evening.
Okay.
You guys are still in the probably 4 or 5 o'clock, I would say, in the afternoon. So depending on the time of year, either the real hot part of the summer afternoon, or if you're getting towards fall, it's starting to probably get towards dusk.
Well, I was wanting to go spend some time near that pond and that little stream. Should we go do that for a little while and then come back for dinner, or what? I would like to enjoy what's left of the day.
Yes. I agree.
Okay. So, whoever wants to can head out to behind the bed and breakfast. There's, some fields, a little bit of, little stand of trees over there, meadow over that way. And then there's kind of a little brook that flows into what might be a large pond or small lake, depending on your perspective of the size. And then the water continues flowing out the other side, and the stream goes on from there.
Okay. So, what shall we do?
Well, I'm going to go out back and enjoy the nature. Would you like to join me?
Sure.
Anyone else?
Laura will just still be there swinging her feet as Adam holds her up. Like, basically kind of asking, are you going to put me down yet? Without saying the words.
I believe Alora would like to go inside too.
What are you going to
Or
do,
we can go
Adamant?
do more ghost hunting. That
I
was
don't know
fun.
if there's any more ghosts here.
And the innkeeper said, "What? More ghosts? Oh no, no! Please don't tell me there are any more ghosts."
I sense no more ghosts.
Oh, thank goodness.
Hmm.
Oyo gets up from the table, and whoever wants to join him can, and he'll make his way.
Adamant will hand Alora to Oyo. Here.
What? What? He turns around. What?
He just passes Alora over here.
Let her walk on her own.
I'm afraid she will try to go hunt down more ghosts, Oyo. She'll end up in some stranger's basement.
And the problem is,
Elora isn't Wah, Pete.
Oh, just staying there. Like, she can't do anything. She can't get out, so she'll just sit there.
Hmm.
He sets Alora down, pats her on the head.
Just
Well,
swallow. Thanks.
you two are welcome to stay here, but me and Inka are going for a walk.
Yes.
I suppose I can go with.
The excuse for nature is a good excuse. And she kind of pushes Oyo out of the way and runs out the door.
Hey, if we need a campfire, I'm all set.
Okay, so
All right.
once
So
we get settled, Oyo's just kind of like sit underneath that big oak tree, and kind of looks at Inka to join him. What's Elora and Adamant doing?
Laura will probably try to pull Adamant into the water and try and splash him with water.
But
Oh no!
he doesn't really go. He walks on the water.
Laura will just like shapeshift the water and things like that to make like all weird shapes and things like that around him, even steps, so he can like walk on top of the water and just steps and possibly fall. Who knows? Cannonball.
She makes water walk on him.
I imagined it would evaporate as soon as it touched him.
That is a big wall of text. Okay, never mind. Okay.
Oh
It's
yeah,
just to
so
show that I have control water.
he looks at Inka.
Yes. What? You said you looked at Inka and she's kind of like, yeah, what?
Did you not hear me?
No.
Nope.
Oh, I said, please have a seat. Join me.
Okay. So she does.
I wish to converse with you.
Hmm.
Can he all formal on it?
So she's finally finds a comfortable spot and sits down and leans up against the tree. Yes.
I've been in love with you from the moment I'm in it. No, I'm just kidding.
At this point in time, Inka would
It's
get
a
up
joke.
and leave. No, I know.
It's a joke.
I know.
I wanted to, I guess, how do I say, rehash our previous conversation we had some time ago about Elora.
Okay.
And Oyo kind of leans his head back against the tree, and he just aware of his surroundings and listening to the wind. make its way through the leaves.
Are you talking about the conversation that we had a while ago about how I think you need to be honest with her in your feelings?
Yes, for some reason I didn't want to see it, but I think you're onto something.
Yeah. Just call it intuition, women's intuition that, sometimes we pick up on little things and notice that sometimes other people don't seem to understand what we're pointing out or don't want to see something. But I am glad that you've kind of started to notice this, so to speak.
Normally, I'm very observant, as you are aware, and I have a strong intuition. But I think, with everything happening and all the stress, and it has somehow clouded my judgment.
Yeah. Well, I guess the question really boils down to, is this something that you want? Are you even interested in?
Well, she's been acting stranger by the day, is she not?
Well, I guess that just depends on what you mean by stranger. Not saying that it's a bad thing. It's just there are times where I think
1 minute she's hot and 1 minute she's cold. And you know what I
well,
mean.
let's just put it this way. She's getting mixed signals from you. And
what?
Well, she's interested, but yet even though you don't realize it, you're kind of playing, I don't want to say playing the field, but I think is struggling here. She likes you. And she sometimes gets the feeling that I think that you're not into her like she is possibly into you.
Do you think that maybe this will pass? Do you think it is a temporary?
No.
How do you say?
A
crush? Is that the word?
No, it's very hard to say. I've really never had a chance to be around a drow for very long.
That's a very good point. I'm glad you brought that up because I don't know much about.
But I don't think
drows.
she's your average, normal, run-of-the-mill drow. The fact
Indeed.
that she's different, and I think that's makes it all the better. Makes her for somebody that is willing to be a little more open to her feelings, to certain things that I always perceive drow are closed, non-emotional about. But I also get a sense that she's very naive when it comes to certain things, isn't sure how quote unquote normal people, normal society works or attitudes. She's getting conflicting signals, I think, and she thinks she knows she means well for certain things when she says stuff certain ways, and then suddenly second guesses herself and then becomes embarrassed and closes off again. So I think what would work best with her is if you are interested in her in any way, to be honest with her.
I'm honest with her about what exactly? How? I
If
mean,
you
she's
if you have feelings for her, then talk to her about them. Express that you don't expect maybe much to begin with, but perhaps maybe you would if you are interested. Not saying that you are.
hold on. Let's
What?
not jump forward so quickly. Has she talked to you or said anything to you? I must admit that something did happen recently. Well, that's kind of sparked my awareness, as you say.
She hasn't so much come out and said, "I love Oyahusa."
Whoa. That is a strong word, okay?
But she has interest in you. I get a sense that she wouldn't mind exploring that.
Inka, she bit my ear.
Why, yes, she did.
Oh, you know about it.
Mm,
I see. So you two are talking behind my back.
no, not so much, but she did mention that she bit your ear. And
not-
I was kind of like, oh my,
Did she explain what happened?
out of character, you're asking somebody that can't remember what she had for breakfast yesterday.
We were laying there, we were having a nice time, and
You were laying there?
well, I had laid down and she was behind me. She was braiding my hair, and I thought nothing of it because it's, quite frankly, it's Elora, right? And the next thing I know, I'm talking and we're having a very good conversation.
Well,
And
even
she
though
leans
I'm
down.
a Minotaur, but
Hold on. Let me finish. This is important. The next thing I know, she's gone very quiet, and I feel her bite my ear. I turn around, and I'm like, what? Surprise has caught me off guard, which is harder to do in the first place. I'm sure you know this. And he she had this. Well, she had a look of lust in her eyes, and it was at that moment I was very conflicted. I have not really experienced such behavior. I am no virgin, as you know, but it seemed very intense and very innocent. And it was at that very moment that I realized that something was not right. That perhaps she is attracted to me, whether it be. I think she said something about it was the way I smelled. Is that? I mean, I guess that's normal, or
yeah.
I mean, I know it's normal in nature for mates, for females to be attracted to, and males vice versa. And it's kind of like an awkward conversation.
She's kind of like sitting there, and she kind of turns to look at him finally and goes, "Well, let me ask you this. Did you like having your ear bit?"
Oyo kind of bites his lip where she can't, on the opposite side of his face where she can't see. I mean, I am no stranger to physical, how do you say, enjoyment? Yes, I did like it, but at the same time, I didn't like it. If you know what I mean.
I would like to roll an insight check on that. Honestly.
Yeah.
Go for it.
I think that's fine.
He's like, I'm not so sure.
Well, and I there it's
I
when
want to
it's
make sure that
PC
he's
to
giving me the
PC.
truth and nothing but the truth. And
Okay.
I failed. So
Okay. So yeah. So you do not have a read
okay.
on whether he's being honest or
Sure,
not,
yeah.
and Ken, you don't have to tell her whether Oyo is being honest or not.
So but she sits there and she looks at him and goes, well, you know, sometimes, well, not sometimes. I get a feeling that that's Alora's way of showing that she's interested.
Do your species have a way of expressing such things? You're a female minotaur. Perhaps you have your own strange customs. I mean, as to say that. I mean, me
Do you really want to
personally.
know? Do you really want to know how minotaurs show their interest?
I mean, for me, I'm just saying that I think every being that is capable of enjoying physical touch has different areas in which they enjoy more. But for me, it's my lower ear and my neck particularly has a good effect on me. And
Well, I
if you
get
know
a
what I mean.
feeling that yes, I know what you mean. The fact that my species, at least where I'm from, um, to show affection to one, it's basically, well, during a hug, you take the side of your face and neck and you rub it up against the other person's face and neck. You know, it's like getting a good itch taken care of, but it shows affection. It shows that you're willing to reciprocate that attention that you're seeking. But that's beside the point. Anyway, I think that she, at that time, was inspired to bite you like that because that was perhaps the only way she could express her desire without fumbling and stumbling over her words, which sometimes happens when she gets embarrassed or is uncertain about, you know, how things are going to be taken,
Do you think that
reciprocated.
it might be because of her drow heritage? She's been
Yes.
expressing more and more, how do I say, those types of cultural
I do.
displays.
To a point.
I'm not sure exactly if I'm no expert in
I am
drow
not either,
social.
but I think it could very well be. Some of it may just be pure instinct. And
So what you're
basically,
saying is that this is no small thing for her. She's
she's expressing her interest in a way that says without words that she likes you, that she wants to perhaps go a little farther to, I don't know, perhaps to see where it leads to. My only thing would be is to understand that, you know, some of this may not be easy for her to express, and you may have to actually sit down and have a conversation with her.
I am a little worried, to be honest.
I don't think you should be worried.
Well, let
Don't.
me explain why. In my culture, we have a thing called imprinting, and usually when that happens, it's how do I say? It's kind of how the females basically pick their mates for life. The elven culture, at least for the wood elves that I know of, it's
Are
not something
are
that's.
you afraid of being tied down, so to speak? Hitched, tied down, committing to only one individual? Or are you still wanting to play the field, so to speak?
What are you suggesting, that I somehow have commitment issues?
No. But if
Oh,
you're
yeah.
afraid of something like that, then perhaps you should, I don't know, maybe not take the chance, nip this in the bud, tell her that you're not interested, and move on. But if it's something that you at least are willing to risk for, I don't know, the chance to possibly find that one person that understands you, that's willing to be there for you through thick and thin, is willing to protect you in their own way, then maybe this is something that you should explore with the thought, or should I say with the express discussion that if it doesn't work out, well, then it doesn't work out, and that you'll still continue to be friends.
I'm not sure how I feel about it, to be honest. I
Maybe
will
it's time
say
to do
that
a little soul searching then.
I think that I see her in a different light. It's no longer such. How do I say? I'm no longer look at her as a brother in a sense, but I still do. It's complicated. I've
Well-
never met someone like her, and I do enjoy being around her, and somehow we do get along very well. And I have responsibilities, and as you know, we have grave responsibilities, and
Yes,
I
but what
am concerned.
happens-
Hold on, let me finish. I can't help but think that I need to protect her and you and others, and maybe I am a little bit concerned about settling down because of the nature of my work. I have spent all my life mastering martial arts, as many as other philosophies and techniques, and one of them is controlling my emotions, because showing the wrong emotions at one time in my line of work can get you killed. And I'm worried that if I don't want anyone that I get involved with to get hurt or be used as leverage against me or things like that. So these are all very serious concerns that I have. But I do feel conflicted.
So let me ask you this. Are you truly thinking that if you express your potential feelings that you like Allura, that she will chain you down to the hearth and nothing ever will change after that, and that you'll never be able to adventure and never be able to go out and do anything ever again? Or would you like to try to explore the possibility of having a partner, someone that's got your back explicitly, unwaveringly, someone that will understand you and be with you through thick and thin? And yes, there is always the possibility that any of us could get hurt. I mean, hell, Adamant and I have already dealt with being killed and resurrected once. But I still took the sense that the God that I chose to worship still watches over me, and that I know that if anything happens to me in the future, that yes, I do have friends that I would be terribly sad to leave behind, but I do know that I don't need to worry about the afterlife, that My faith will see me through, and I know what to expect. However, that's beside the point. What I'm saying is it's always good to find that one person that you can be yourself with, even if it's just for a short little period of time now and then behind closed doors. And as long as that person understands that in certain situations, you may not be able to express to them your feelings, your sentiments, because others could see it and take it as a weakness. But
Do
as
you
long
think
as
that she is? How strong do you think her attraction to me is? What are we really talking about here? Is what I'm trying to discern. You don't seem to think it is a crush that will phase out in its own time, or something
well,
more.
the fact that, again, I will preface this by saying I've truly never had dealings with Drow before. However, I will state that she's not your normal average Drow. Some of the stuff I think that she's done that's very Drow-like is simply by instinct. But I think that if you were to be willing to see if Inca kind of hesitates a little bit. I think if you were willing to open up a little to see where the future lays with this, I think you could potentially find that one person in her that would be there with you unfalteringly for the rest of your days, that would always have your back, would always be an equal, a partner to you and with you. No matter what you decide to do, or no matter what she decides to do in the future. It's part of being, I mean, my granted, my race is kind of rather large and sometimes can let the more animalistic side of ourselves come through. But I will tell you, though, that in my culture, once that person has found the one that they wish to be with, it is a partnership. It is equal. They are, yes, there are some things that men or the males can do that the women cannot. However, there are a lot of things the women or the females are better at than men. It's give and take. It's equal partnership. And I think she would be willing to explore that with you if you were sincere and willing.
I think I know what I must do. I'll let her enjoy herself for a little while, and I will talk to her at the ball. And
I think so. I think it's the two of you would need. I think the two of you do need to have a discussion, because, again, and I would ask you if you do decide to speak with her about this. I will say nothing to her about our conversation. But I think that you should consider talking to her alone and be willing to allow her to feel comfortable in your presence, to make those mistakes, to have that uncertainty, because she does tend to get flustered when she can't seem to express her feelings or sentiments the way that she feels that she should, or she doesn't quite understand or know how to express something, and it makes her flustered, frustrated, embarrassed. So be patient with her.
I think that I will tell her at the ball that I think it would be wise. If my culture is anything like hers in a similarity, I need to end this before she fully develops some kind of imprint on me. And I don't want that. I don't want to hurt her, so perhaps I should just tell her that no, this cannot happen. It will not be, and that
I think you could be
I am
making a mistake.
I am slightly attracted to her. I do
There's
see
nothing
her in a
saying you
different
can't
light.
take this slowly.
I think it would be best for her safety and mine, and it's
Inka basically
It-
just rubs her hands over her face. She's just like, I think you're jumping to conclusions here.
no.
think you're
I have
going
thought
to-
it out quite a bit before I brought up the subject with you. I just wanted your thoughts.
I think you could be making a big mistake.
Okay. Well, but sometimes you have to pay the price instead and make a mistake, and to
Why do you
avoid
have
future mistakes.
why do you have to feel like it's a mistake?
I've
know?
already explained it to you.
Yeah, if you did, it didn't. I don't know. I'm even though I'm a bard, I'm not the type of person that's good at sometimes expressing my own thoughts. I grew up using my bardic arts to summon herds and wild animals and, communicate over long distances with others of my community. However, I don't have the formal bardic training that some of these bards that play in bars and taverns and stuff have.
Mhm.
I don't have that ego that some do. However, I understand and can listen to my heart. And I think you are possibly jumping the arrow, I guess.
No. I
You're
do not
jumping
think
the
that.
shot there, I think.
I don't want anybody. I don't want to have to worry about someone all the time or be tied down, and it would complicate things. And you know how it is. And I don't want to string her along per se. So perhaps I should, like I said, at the ball I will just tell her, this will not work. You can make an insight check if you like.
I think I'm gonna have to, because she's just like, we went from one discussion to suddenly now you just want to turn her down.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna roll. He is being deceptive, so I think it's fair to just roll deception, see what happens. Oof. You get.
I think then it's up to Ken. If you think that's a failed roll, that's fine.
Yeah.
Heather, you can, as the option, roll an insight and see if you can pick up on the fact that Oyahus is hiding something.
Well, that's
Already
kind of
rolled
what
it.
I was rolling, was that he's kind of
21.
saying, I'm trying to talk him into at least having a discussion with Laura, and then all of a sudden it's like, nope, I'm just going to dump her at the ball. We're not even going to talk about it. I'm just going to tell her. It's like, wait, what? So, yeah, that's kind of what I was like. Is he's full of shit here?
Man said, I'm going to dump her at the prom.
You
Okay.
get what you discern, which is rare, so enjoy it. That he is very conflicted, but he's, on one hand, he is attracted to Laura, like, physically. There's an intimacy there, but he has still like this strong like urge to be a protector, and there's this brotherly thing, but it's gone beyond that. He's just like, physically he finds her attractive, Now, he sees that she's attracted to him, and he's worried that it's going to complicate things, it's going to make things harder, and he's got all of this other stuff on his plate. And it's like, well, what, he's going to try to juggle a relationship on top of all this other shit, and then he's going to have to like he gets involved with other women. He's just like, he goes down this whole like mental rabbit hole of all the reasons why he's like, oh, this is such a bad idea. And
So about this point in time,
And- but
that's
then-
when, okay.
so those are the two like conflicting thoughts that he's having. And so he's just like, man, I should just like, like, I've got frostbite. I'm just going to chop a limb off to get rid of it, kind of thing. You know what I mean? So, but he's conflicted. So you're not really sure. You think that he's really gonna do it, but you can feel that there's a strong confliction. He's conflicted.
She basically has figured out that this is a mistake. So, period. Doesn't matter what kind of mistake it is, it's a mistake. So, basically, Inka just kind of looks at him and goes, well, I guess you must do what you feel is right. And nothing that what few words I have to express things is going to change your mind. So I guess we'll just see you at the ball then, and you do what you need to do to protect yourself.
She's not angry. She's just disappointed.
So she just, at this point in time, she kind of gets up and brushes off her skirt and goes, I think I need to go for a walk. And basically just turns around and walks off.
All right.
Skirt steak.
Okay.
What?
Okay. The while they have been having that conversation, Laura, Adamant, either of you doing anything in particular?
Who was gonna do something, now she walked off, so now the plan changed, but it still has it. You can still have it. Allure and
Okay.
Adamant would be playing in the water. She'll be making steps for Adamant, and then he'll fall, things like that. And then she'll turn
Okay.
to Adamant and say, I want to do something. Are you in for it?
What are you trying to do?
You see them at the picnic, like over there, and they're not even sharing anything with us? They probably just ate all of it.
And about this time, you have seen Inka get up, and she just kind of has this frustrated look on her face, like, whatever, and walks off. Her shoulders are kind of a little on the hunched up side, like she's a little frustrated about something.
And by the appearance of things, you really messed up. So, how about we make it so? She'll kind of like do like waterfall effects on her hands in front of her, so you can't see at all, even if you want to. I don't.
What are you planning on doing?
But I just finished saying. She
Gonna
kind of like
get him wet?
she'll nod her head.
You don't need me for that?
Yes, I do. I use you as a reflection so I can see him, so I can cast a spell on him without being able to look his direction. So he won't know it's me.
Is that why you've been getting me wet all this time?
She kind of put a finger out to her lips and say shh, and kind of give him a wink.
Well, if you're just using me as a mirror, I don't see a problem.
She'll clap her hands and says, I'm not using you. You're just very helpful. And she'll kind of like rub her hand on a piece of his outer body so like it'll all become wet, and it'll basically make this perfect sized mirror. And she'll make like the water to like dissipate into very, very small beads so no one can really see them, hopefully. As she'll kind of try and put them behind her next to the tree near Oyahusa and where Inca was sitting. Adamant, tell me when.
When?
Close enough. She'll kind of scoff and she'll kind of like drop the water as she opens her hand. And the water will start pouring down little by little, drizzle off the leaves onto his nose and onto his head and things like that. At first.
Oyahusa, it seems to be starting to rain. Very, very localized rain. Like under this tree, the
He's
branch
so
that's
deep
right
in-
above you.
He's so deep in thought, and one of the very few moments where he's distracted, he just thinks it's rain. It started to rain somehow, so he just sits there and he's.
Meanwhile, it's bright and sunny out in the yard.
She'll kind of like look in the mirror that she made and she's like, huh? He's not moving? She'll kind of like turn back to Oyo like, huh? Give Adam a weird look like, huh?
Adam just kind of shrugs.
Kind of cross her arms. That's no fun. No need to apologize. She'll kind of scoff and she'll kind of like walk away, and behind her, like the steps that she made for Adamant to go higher and higher just fall. And she'll walk over to Oyahusa and kind of sit in front of him on her knees and say, "Are you okay? You're kind of lost." She'll kind of like poke his nose.
He kind of snaps out of it and like, it's like, oh shit. Yes, everything is fine. Like, you seem to be enjoying yourself.
Well, I was. Adam seemed to be enjoying himself, even though I can never quite tell. Anyway, Inca seems a little bit upset as she kind of like stomped off with like a hoofy face.
With a hoofy face.
Isn't that natural? I'm sorry.
Adamant! She'll kind of like snap at Adam and she'll turn back to Oyahusa and says, "And you seem very lost."
He wipes his face. I see you got me good. Nice.
She'll be acting kind of confused. It's just like, didn't even get bad or stand up or try and get out of it or anything. Now you're just wet.
I must have been distracted. Anyway, yeah, no, Inca, she's not feeling very well, I think. Perhaps that is it.
Laurel will kind of think for a moment and says, "Well, she walked off, so I can't exactly fix her mood, but I can try and fix yours." And she'll smile as she'll stand up on her feet and give him a hand down to try and grab his hand so she can bring him to the water.
He smiles and politely extends his hand out and he stands up. Yes, very well. I did want to enjoy some water today. And he's
Laura smiles and says, Strip, you're already wet. Get in the water." She'll kind of smile and she'll just dive into the water instead.
Isn't it? How warm is it outside?
Doesn't matter.
It's fall.
So,
and
getting pretty cool.
Waterdeep. Hey, it's kind of like the middle of fall. You haven't had the first snowfall yet, but it gets pretty chilly at night. You still have those afternoons where you get full sun and kind of warm in the afternoon, but as soon as the sun goes down, things start to chill out or chill down pretty quickly.
And he'll just kind of take his shoes off and he'll sit down near the water and put his feet in the water and just kind of play in the water that way.
Forgot, was Oyahusa staying up here overnight with us?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There's enough rooms at the B&B for anybody in the party
Okay.
that wants to stay.
Gally, I had sent you a question.
Oh, okay.
And I guess we just kind of enjoy the evening till it start getting dark.
She'll continue to make steps and like whatever Adamant thinks and wants and things like that. She'll splash Oyahusa with water if he gives her a weird look or dozes off or anything like that.
He laughs.
If Inca comes back, she'll try and get Inca wet, and then Inca will probably get upset at her, and she'll try and hide in the water away from Inca so that Inca doesn't get mad at her.
While they're doing that, Adamant is going to kind of creep off to go after Inca. There's no sloshing because he walks on water.
Drips of the cool water dripping off his metal chest, going over to Inca.
It's probably evaporating more than dripping.
Yeah, it probably is.
There's just sizzling coming from his chest.
It'll be a steamy conversation.
Literally.
Ouch.
Literally.
Okay. So you said Adamant went after Inca?
Yes.
Okay. So after a while, she kind of just has found kind of a place to just stand and stare off into the fields that are being harvested and kind of think back about, home, what time of year it would be at home.
Inca.
Yes.
Even I can see you're mildly.
Slightly. I think she's kind of looks a little on the flustered side. I'm young, technically, in the ways of the world and whatnot, but and you don't quite always understand things that go on between, women and men and friends and that kind of stuff sometimes. But I think Oya is going to make an ass out of himself this coming masquerade ball with something he was going to tell Alora, and I don't know. I just personally think they need to just have some time to talk to each other without everybody else being around and work out some things. I think it's hard for him to open up, and I think Alora sometimes has issues expressing herself without, feeling guilty or feeling frustrated that she can't express herself the way she wants to, or not sure if she's doing something that she's not supposed to be doing, or might be a social faux pas, etc.
Indeed. This does sound like an Oyahusa situation.
Well, I've only been around you guys for a few weeks, so... But I am I am not the type of bard that's good with figuring out people's hearts sometimes. But I do know when someone's making a fool of themselves. Or going to make a big mistake. But anyway.
When I left them sitting next to each other.
Yes, but they're still in public. And then she starts kind of looking at you a little bit, and she goes, "You're staying overnight with us, right?"
I can.
You and Oyusa.
But why wait?
Why wait? What?
And it kind of looks over. Do you think you could distract them for around 10 minutes or so?
Well, I was kind of thinking, you guys just finished scaring those or getting rid of the ghost or ghosts out of the basement. And
No,
Oyo's
for what I'm thinking, you just keep them right where they're at.
You want me
Wall
to
of fire?
distract them?
Just for a few moments.
Okay, well, you. Okay, I was kind of thinking of just, with Oyo being kind of a master of escape, getting them into a room in the basement and locking the door.
Won't be an issue.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll go distract him then. You do what you do. She's just kind of like, okay, my idea might take more. She kind of walks back over towards them after they've been there.
Trust issues with me, and
Huh?
He has some trust issues, but he can't escape from what I'm planning.
Ah, all right. Well, good. I'll just leave it at that. I can at least do some distracting. So, you want them to stay right where they're at?
Sure, why not?
Or do you want them to be called into dinner at the tavern or something? Or the
Right
inn?
where they're at, nearby a tree.
Nearby a tree. All right. So she goes over and meets up with Oyo and Alora. And
Elora, it's going to be dark soon. It's getting cold. You should probably get out.
No! Laura says that she dips her head under the water to go play with the other fishes and the frogs that's in the pond.
So about this point,
I'm going to get cleaned up for dinner. And starts putting on his shoes.
And she basically, Inca comes over at that time and goes, "Is she still in the water?"
Yes, you know how much she loves the water. I was just about to.
We should need to get her out here. So she sets down her bag of, or she reaches into her bag of holding and basically pulls out a large towel. Goes, "I know that she can, get rid of water, but let's see if we can't get her up on the ground for in a few minutes. It is time to get ready." But yes. I don't think she's going to listen to me.
They should have a nice hot meal prepared very soon. And I am a little bit hungry.
Well, help me get her out, and then we'll look at heading back.
And how do you suppose that we do this?
In the meantime, she hands you... I take it over the course of a couple of weeks or something, she's figured out what kind of things Alora likes for a snack or treat or something.
Oh, yeah.
So she'll pull out whatever that is. She's probably got some in a bag. And we'll hold it out to Oyahusa and go, "Here, offer her some of this."
Some of the things that Allura likes is that she really likes the special mushrooms that grow in the Underdark, which is very hard to get a hold of and grow properly up above. She really likes her pastry thingies, like she keeps on stealing from Inca.
Yeah, so Inca has pastries. At least a couple. She's like, here, offer her this if she gets out of the water.
Elora, we're going to go have pastries.
Laura's
before
head will
dinner.
just pop up with a frog on her arm. It should kind of like show you guys, I made a friend. Does he get pastries too?
Sure, but if you don't get out of the water, Oya and I will have the pastries, and you get none.
We better
Laura will
jump to
kind of
it.
scoff and says,
Jump to
I need
it.
2. I need half.
Fine. Get out of the water.
Laura will smile and say, you can go back to your friends now. She'll kind of like dip him back under the water and she'll slowly make herself back up. Her dress that she's wearing from that Galabar gave her completely soaked, dripping wet.
Well, about this point in time, Allura holds out the towel. Come on.
She
I
takes
swear.
the towel from Inca.
I swear, it's like taking care of a small
wrapped around
child.
herself.
Yep. And then she looks over at Oyahusa like, okay, you know.
Don't you have any other clothing you can put on? Except a dripping wet dress.
Well, we're not that far.
Well,
We're not that
yes.
far from the whatever, the inn, so I'm sure she'll
Okay,
be fine.
as Inca takes a step back, and this will be a good place that we can kind of close our session. As Inca takes a step back, mystical movement as a 10-foot by 10-foot by 10-foot cube of wood that's hollow, made of wooden slats that has gaps in it to allow air to come in and out, surrounds the spot where Elora and Oyahusa are standing.
And there's a couple of trees missing now.
Yes, and there's a little less shade. And Inca, as you look over in the direction of Adamant, you know that his mouth is not articulated. He does not have the ability to
Smile.
change the expression on his face, but somehow he just looks very satisfied with himself.
He just crosses his arms.
I was expecting wall of stone or wall of fire, but
Well, why would you want a wall of fire? Because that's not going to give him any quiet time.
That would be counterproductive.
it would make Elora want to talk with him faster.
No, this is something that's going to take a while.
So what happens?
You guys
trapped in
got
a giant
locked
wooden
into
box.
a box with no doors, no windows, and only a small amount of airspace between slats of a wood box. 10 foot
It's
by
all
10 foot by
solid.
10 foot.
You are trapped in a wooden prison.
I imagine that's going to go over real well. Well, who's startled? What happened? What does Elora do?
So there's no way to get light in here if there's no
There's
windows,
some
no
light.
nothing.
There's some light.
There's some
There's
well, it's starting to get
some
dark
small
outside.
there's some small gaps so air can get through, light
It's
can
not
get
like
through.
completely solid.
Yeah, it's not sealed.
It's
but-
just not like planks and stuff. It's just a one.
With like maybe a knot hole that's you can barely stick your finger through.
Adamant will go cast light on the box. Now you can see you're not coming out until you've had a good conversation.
What?